Hi there, my name's Philip Stott from the Scottish Unionist and Socialist Coalition. I'm pleased today to be here with Brian Smith, and Brian has just recently been elected to head up Scottish TUSC's list for Glasgow. Brian, why do the people of Glasgow need a socialist alternative on May the 6th?
Hi Philip. Well, I mean, after a decade of cuts, you only have to walk around the city to see the impact of austerity in the city and why we need investment in our public services, ranging from council services all the way through to healthcare services, social care services. People have their own experiences of trying to access these services. Nothing to do, of course, with the workers that are providing them. It's to do with lack of investment from politicians, and services are not what they should be. Also in Glasgow, we've got child poverty levels, which are 1 in 3 children in the city are living in poverty. People using food banks. And we are arguing that if there's a COVID recovery, which is necessary, and it should be a recovery for working class people, for the folk who are on the front line, for the folk in the communities who have struggled in the last decade. We can't go back to a recovery like 12 years ago after the last economic crisis, where it was a recovery for the billionaires, not for ordinary folk. And we're looking for jobs, decent wages, £12 an hour, minimum wage, maybe even get up to £15 an hour as an aspiration. And of course, big investment in services across the city, and making sure that our young people have got a future which is secure rather than the insecure future which they are facing at the moment.
Thanks, Brian. Now, Scottish TUSC candidates are pledging to, if elected, to live on the average wage of a skilled worker, which would mark our candidates out as quite unique in the context of the election. So why is standing on a worker's wage an important principle?
Well, we think that maintains a level of lifestyle which is similar to the people that we seek to represent, that we should not be rising above the majority. We should be attempting to push everyone up. And we think that keeps people who are elected politicians and who are socialists connected to the communities and the working class people who have voted for them. As far as we're concerned, politics and politicians is not about lining your own pocket. It's about being democratically elected, being accountable to the people that elected you, putting forward your manifesto commitments and delivering them if you can when you're in Parliament or in a local council. So we see that as an important principle, but also a very practical measure to make sure that we are still connected to the people who we seek to represent.
And finally, Brian, you've obviously got a long history as a fighter in trade unions and on the socialist left, sure. Standing up for working class people in the city. Can you just tell us a bit about the type of battles that you've been involved in your trade union work and your socialist activity? Yeah.
Well, I mean, I've been an active trade unionist and socialist for over 25 years, nearly 30 years. The last 12 years, I've been the branch secretary in the Unison branch in Glasgow, which is one of the biggest branches in the country. We've had numerous battles with the council over those years. I've been involved in coordinating and helping to lead many strikes over that period of time. Some of them small strikes of workers, other ones large ones like the equal pay strike a number of years ago. But the thing that characterises them all is that where working people decide that they've been treated badly in their workplace, if they're organised in a trade union, and crucially, they have an idea that they can actually win because they're confident that they can actually take on the employer, then they can win and they can secure concessions from the employer, or for instance, an equal pay battle, significant payouts. And of course, that battle's not over yet. And there may be further conflict that will come with the council. But it's important that if you're in work, that you're a member of a trade union. And it's important that your trade union is a militant, combative trade union. And it's got leaderships at local level and indeed at national level that recognises that, yes, negotiations are critical and that people need to be defended on an individual basis as well. But fundamentally, if you're going to really improve your situation, you need to organise collectively. And sometimes that involves taking industrial action, which is never easy. But that is the power which working people have. And it's the only power we really have in relation to many situations in our working lives. And we should not be shy to use it when it's democratically decided that that's the appropriate tactic. And certainly over the years, I've tried to promote that, and socialists that I've worked alongside have tried to promote that, and we think that is a good strategy and a good tactic to advance people's rights and people's living standards.
Thanks very much, Brian. And we just invite our viewers in conclusion to those of you who are interested in helping support the Socialist challenge for the Scottish Parliament elections against austerity and for a working class recovery with socialist policies from COVID and a mass campaign for the right to Indie Ref 2, why don't you come to our conference a week on Saturday, February the 20th, where the Scottish TUSC manifesto will be being discussed, debated and finalised. And really that conference on February 20th is the beginning of the launch of our election campaign for the Scottish elections in May. And you can find details on the screen about how you could come along to that conference. Brian, among others, will be one of the main speakers a week on Saturday at the Scottish TUSC conference. So you're more than welcome to come along and help build the socialist alternative to the parties of austerity, the parties of cuts and the parties of capitalism. Thanks very much, Brian.